What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Nights at the Round Table. Hey, quick question. If you could buy anything from a movie or a TV show, what would it be? Once you hear Angela's answer, you guys are going to freaking trip because it was funny and also deep. And this is things we want to talk about in this episode. Questions, getting to know us, each individual, that is also deep, funny, hilarious, sad, all the good things. Get to know us more on this episode of Nights at the Round Table. We appreciate you guys so much. We love you. Here is Nights at the Round Table. And welcome to another episode of Nights at the Round Table. Tis your boy, MANWELL'S, and we got the queen to the left,
Hello.
Be Real to the right.
What up?
And we are here on a beautiful Saturday.
Yeah.
It's nice outside, you know. It's not that cold. I'm kind of upset about that. I really, really wish that it was cold. I don't like it that I'm in a t-shirt.
I love that it's warm.
Stop.
Welcome to California.
I still want it to be
Welcome to
freaking-
California winters.
I know the cold night. It's 52 degrees outside.
I still want it to be Christmas time. I was sad when I woke up and you guys took down the fake Christmas tree.
How quick did you guys take it down?
I just took it down yesterday. Or was that this morning?
So upset.
I think it was this morning or yesterday.
It's been a long week.
Yeah.
There was something about waking up and just seeing the lights.
Yeah,
Brian.
it's
really,
we're getting up in the middle of the night to get a little snacky snack and having the little
The
garland.
twinkles. Yeah, the twinkling lights.
So
I do
mad.
enjoy that. It feels happy, but I feel like I'm doing an active switch in my brain to get into work mode, to get into let's go mode, and the Christmas gets me into like settle down and let's just cozy mode.
Let's just eat some more food.
Yeah.
It
Well,
did.
that's
It
kind of
did.
always been.
Yeah, I was. When Christmas comes around, I did put on 4 pounds.
Yeah.
So I wasn't excited about that.
I'm gonna assume I did too. We're just gonna assume.
I'm gonna assume.
What are we drinking, Queen?
Oh yeah, let me tell you the story about this wine.
Okay.
So this is Barkan Vineyards Classic Malbec Galil, Israel, 2014.
Ooh, Israeli.
So here's the thing about this wine. Wait, we didn't toast it. To taste it first, you gotta toast first. Cheers, cheers.
That's very good. It's got this
That's interesting.
this undernote of it's hard to describe.
That's interesting.
Tobacco. I just made that up. I don't know. Okay, here's the story about this bottle of wine. I was at the gas station a couple years ago.
Wait, a gas station? What gas station? Wait.
Gas station
Okay, I thought it was a
by
specific one.
our old house.
Uh-huh.
Don't eat
Shout out to our own house.
while we're recording a podcast.
I always eat when we record.
No, you do
I
not.
snack, babe.
Not while we're recording.
It's an almond. Calm down. I'm not eating spaghetti.
Spaghetti might be better.
Spaghetti. Go. Talk about the thing.
Okay, well, at least move the mic.
I am.
You're like chewing into the microphone.
Because you put me on the spot and I had to talk to you. Go.
Okay. So this bottle of wine, I was at a gas station and there was a guy who pulled up at the pump next to me and he didn't have money to fill up his gas tank. And he was like, I need some money to fill up my gas tank. Like, I don't really have like anything to give you, but I do have a bottle of wine that I can give you in exchange for like some gas money. And I was like, okay, like sure. And he's like, this bottle of wine is like $75, but I'll just give you can give me like $10 so I can put gas in my tank. And so I ended up giving this guy like $25. And I was like, here you go. Yeah, I'll take. And it was fully closed, so it's not
Right.
like it was like a
I
half
just
drunk.
opened this just before.
Yeah.
That thing was tight.
So I was like, okay, yeah, let's do that. I've never heard of this. Let's take it. It was $75. Heck yeah, let me take it home. So I've had this in the
Wow.
wine cellar this whole time. And I was like, ooh, $75? Like, I'm going to save this for a special night. And then I Googled it. Bro, that's $12.99.
And you gave him $25.
I gave him $25. Hey, he needed it.
But that's why he told you $10 because he knew.
Yeah, but I don't care. I was like, you need some gas. Here's some gas money. And yeah, I like wine. Sure, I'll take a bottle. So, cheers to non-$75 wine.
Cheers to
Cheers.
getting played.
Yeah. Cheers to paying double for the bottle.
Thou shall not hate the player.
Paying double for the bubble.
Don't hate the player, man.
Hey man, we're thinking of doing this new segment called "What You Reading? What You Reading?"
Tell me.
And we're gonna talk about books they were reading. I'm gonna attempt to play an audible clip from Richard Rohr's Great Themes of Scripture.
Great new themes of Scripture.
Yes, great. The new Great Themes of Scripture by Richard Rohr, and hopefully you don't get flagged. But it's such a good message. This book is amazing. We'll put a clip, not a clip, in the description. We'll give you guys a link so that you guys can check it out. But I want you to hear this and tell me what you guys think.
As I said, the monotheistic religions, Islam, Judaism, and Christianity, we took a great risk in putting religious experience in words. And once we did that, the price we paid, and I guess it was a necessary price, is we became the most intolerant of the world's religions. Because we thought we had God as our private property. Not just institutional religion, thought it had God as its private property, but even worse, as we now have it with Western individualism, the modern individual thinks that he or she has God as private property.
Wow.
That's the death of religion.
Wow. I thought he was going to say like what you've kind of said about the Bible, like they wrote this letter to this person, not thinking that it was going to be like stamped in the Bible. Everybody in the whole entire world, live your life according to this, when it was just this person writing a letter to this person.
I still believe that.
I know, but that's
I
where I thought he was going.
Isn't that
with
crazy though? He said we made it. We made the death of religion is when we.
Yeah, he said even we made it intolerable.
And it was he pointed out the specific people that, and it was because he was talking about putting it down on words.
Yeah,
it became a fundamentalist thing to where you can go back and use this thing against other people.
Because now you're held to those words.
Correct. And so a little bit before that, he said, this is why Buddhism is such an attractive religion to Christians. Because there's a humility in Buddhism. You know, there's a way of being that they don't think they're right and everyone else is wrong. So it's like very appealing. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
We made God our own personal thing. We put him in our pocket and use him when we need to.
You know, it's almost like butterflies are so like such a beautiful little creature, you know, the intricacy and the details on their wings. But it's funny because you could take something that's so beautiful, that's meant to fly, meant to roam, and as soon as you pin that butterfly down to study it, and you've placed those pins now on the wings, you've now created this thing that can no longer do what it was created to do. So it's like as soon as you pin down the wings on the butterfly, it can no longer fly.
Right.
That's like, to me, this is the image of what Richard Rohr is saying in this, is like, as soon as you have this thing figured out and you've put words, you've now pinned down the wings of God.
Whoa.
You can't fly in your life. You know?
Whoa, that's good.
It's facts though. How many?
Can I get a burr on that, please?
Oh, yeah.
Let me take it out because you said you were gonna be the.
Oh, okay.
There we go. We got it.
Dang, I can give him one of these.
Oh, hand clap. That's what I meant.
Man,
There it
thank you
is.
so much.
Cool.
Well done, B. I agree with that. It's one of those things where I'm like, man, you know, I had a lady. I wonder.
You had a what?
I wonder if I deleted it.
Yeah, you better have. Just kidding.
I had this text in my direct messages.
I had this lady, that got so upset because I don't let me see if she was in my she got so upset because she confronted me on something when it came to one of my posts. Because I recently posted something about you know, we're mimetic people, meaning that we like to mimic people, and I asked people whether or not they felt that they were mimicking an ideology of a person or a church and following it as if it is their own, or were they taking ideas from these people and then coming up with their own ideas. So that was my question. And at the end of it, I said, don't bullshit yourself. So she comes at me and was like, you know, the same old same, are you even a Christian? Blah, blah, blah.
Did you
blah,
just
blah,
say
blah.
shit?
Yeah. Cause she's like, you know, you're cursing. And I'm like, man, you know, like I asked her, I was like, okay, I'm going to receive this. Can you please tell me those 3 scriptures that you sent me, what they mean in the Greek? And she was like, what do you mean? You know, I was like, well, this is what it was written in. So I just want to know if the words that you are using to judge me, if you know what they mean in the original language, because you keep using words in Americanese as opposed to what they meant. And so
Americanese.
She was like,
English.
You're very much, you're combative or you're this. And I'm like, so do you know or not? She's like, no, I don't know what it says in Greek. I have never studied it. And I'm like, why are you attempting to correct me about scripture and you're not even willing to put in the work to understand like what the scripture means? Like you're just taking it for face value, and it's literally you're admitting that you don't know what it originally meant or what was originally intended for it to mean.
Your original post was about being mimetic.
Exactly. You're like, and when I simply was like, you're trying to hold me accountable. I'm trying to hold you accountable. You don't know me and you're trying to hold me accountable. I'm only holding you accountable because you're trying to hold me accountable. So if you're going to come at me and try to hold me accountable, then at least have answers for my questions so that I can learn from you. Because I'm literally giving you an opportunity to teach me something. So when I looked at it, was in James, I think she sent me in the word curse there. And I was like, do you understand that the word curse there, when I looked it up, it meant execration, which means an angry denouncement or a curse. A protester's furious execration, or a police might end up getting her arrested. So when you declare, may the god Apollo strike you down for saying that, that is an execration. Like an actual curse. So like what Jesus did to the fig tree.
Go to hell.
May you never bear fruit again. No one will ever eat from you. That's a curse. Not bullshit.
Yeah.
And she did not want to hear it. And it's like the same thing of what Laura always brings up is that when you hold so tight to the literal words and give no room for figuratism or no room for allegory or no room for these writers to express in different ways, then you're literally deeming the Bible useless because you're trying to force it to be what you need it to be in order to do what you need it to do.
Right.
As opposed to accept the writer's offerings. And I would, but see, at the same week, a old youth pastor hit me up, and he goes to me,
you, bro?
He does.
I'm praying for you, man.
He goes, what's with the language, my man? And I was like, what language? And I was just playing dumb. And he goes, you said bullshit. And I was like, oh, the fact that you wrote it, I know you ain't as far gone as I think you are. Because you wrote it. Most like super spiritual people would have like
They'd have started the
they
I.
would have started out.
Start the vowels.
So I already felt safe. I was like, and he goes, you know what? Because I'm dealing with this. I'm really asking myself, is it okay to cuss? And I'm like, oh, okay. So I get into it with him and I lay out the things. I'm like, bro, it's not about the words you use. Ask yourself, why are you doing the things you do? Why are you saying what you say? Because really that's what it's at. Because if somebody took my words and they were writing down what I was saying, and I said to you, hey, Matt, bless you. In my heart, what I'm saying is, I hope you're not blessed. Yeah. Yep. Screw you. I hope you do not get blessed. But if somebody saw that written out, they would say, oh, Manuel, so nice. He just said, Matt, bless you.
Yeah.
If they just saw the words. But if I said, yo, Matt, you're the shit, bro. Somebody would look at it. If they just read it, they'd be like, dang, Manuel just said that this guy's shit.
Damn.
That's messed up. But anybody who heard it with my intention, we all know that I'm saying, you're freaking amazing. So once I laid it out, he was like, wow, thank you so much for that. I completely like understand what you're saying. Thank you. And I was like, wow, I did not expect this transaction to go so well.
I have a question with words and intention and stuff like that. So thinking about like energy and the things like that, this is all making a little more sense to me in a different aspect of life in language that I use. So for instance, when somebody says something really funny, I always say, I hate you.
Right.
And like, that's the only thing that feels appropriate to me. Like, I hate you means that was so funny right now.
Yeah.
I love you so much.
Right.
That I hate you.
Right.
But then sometimes I feel bad for saying hate. And I'm like, I don't hate them. But that's the only thing that feels good to articulate. That was hilarious. Oh my God, I hate you.
So now think about us writing the Bible and nowadays. We would use this type of terminology. We would be able, because our culture understands what these things mean.
This
we will
is when
be able
we should
to
do our
write
10 Commandments.
we would be able to write this way, and people will understand what we mean because this is our culture.
This is for our time.
Yeah.
But let 2,000 years go by, and people are like, "Wait, cool means not temperature. It means that you're a very unique person. Wait, bad means good." Wait, fresh means that you dress well? Wait, I don't understand any of these words.
This reminds me of a thing that I saw on the internet is how to understand California language. And when it's like, when you say, yeah, no, that means yes. Or yeah, no, yeah. That means no. and the way that it's written out actually made sense. I go, yeah, that's for real. Like, yeah. That means yeah. All right. Yeah. No. That means no. No. Yeah. Wait. Hold on. Which one is it?
Exactly. But fundamentalism did not allow you to introduce these type of new ideas. So this breakdown of what we're saying is like, look, this is the same thing as back then. The way they spoke back then. If you don't understand Jewish culture, Greek culture, Roman culture, then you're not going to understand their ways of saying and doing things, because they still had it. They still had slang back then, or their version of irony and different types of
cultural inside jokes that they all shared, and
figurative
stories
speeches. Like if somebody said go to hell, they didn't really mean an actual place. You're just saying I'm very mad at you right now. Like,
it's like
if you
Jackass
can't allow that to
is
be
an animal.
If you can't allow that to enter your mind frame when you read the word, then I think you're more you're in danger of just being more of a fundamentalist, which will allow you to have to stick to these words. And once you find yourself there, then you can't just throw away the old and the new. You have to stick to all of them, and it gets real dicey.
That's tough. Very black and white, no nuance. Actually, not no nuance. There's a lack of nuance.
Correct. Yes. So it gets crazy. But anyways, let's start this episode. Which on this episode, we're going to do something a little different. We found some questions online that we feel will spark some good conversation.
We've done episodes like this before.
Have we done stuff like this?
Yeah, we've done a few.
Okay, well then here we go. This isn't new.
I was like, what are you talking about?
We're doing this again. I just don't remember the episodes.
Yeah, we did. And we laughed a lot in those episodes.
Did we? Okay, good. So let's laugh some more. So this one, my queen looked up 100 conversational questions to ask.
So these could be questions you ask your spouse or just right now.
Yeah,
conversation
ask whoever you're listening to this with or after we get done.
So, this first one. It's, what are some of the most comforting smells or scents to you? Now, the reason why I picked this out of like the 100 questions is not because I really wanted to know what smells were comforting, but because this actually reminded me of something that I feel is very special, is that smells trigger memories for me. And they trigger emotions. And so I wrote down here, the smell of a washcloth reminds me of my grandma. It reminds me of my grandma washing my face. And it's not every time, but every now and then I'll get a new washcloth and I put it under the warm water and then I put it up to my face and I inhale and I can smell my grandma. And it's in a washcloth. And I don't know if it's because that's my grandma washing my face when I was young. I don't know exactly what it is, but I can smell my grandma in a washcloth. The smell of an old book reminds me of school, but the exciting part, like book fairs and dreaming that I could be anything, not the anxiety part where I would cry for my mom and get depressed, but the good days where I actually liked going to school, which was very rare. I never liked going to school. From preschool, I would cry until my mom had to come pick me up, all the way into high school where I got depressed and I just left school and I couldn't do it anymore. I never enjoyed school, but let me not say never. I rarely enjoyed school, but there were a few moments where I actually did. And it was like book fair and like whatever it was. So sometimes if I smell an old book, it'll remind me of the good parts of school. And then, I said sometimes I'll be walking somewhere and I smell something unidentifiable and I can only describe it as third grade or as my old living room or something. Like I'll be walking in the neighborhood and I smell something and all of a sudden I feel into my body what I was feeling in third grade or whatever it is. So smells are very powerful to me, and they trigger memories, they trigger emotions. So then I looked it up, and Google says the olfactory bulb, I don't know how to say it. Bulb.
Yeah, you said it right.
Okay, the olfactory bulb lies within your nose and the bottom of your brain. It is connected to the parts of your brain that control your memory and emotion. The amygdala and hippocampus. This is why scents can automatically trigger strong emotions and memories.
Yeah.
So I thought it was just Jesus giving me moments.
I got a special power, everybody. These scents are triggering these memories.
Turns out science.
Science. God. I have a few scents that really remind me of things. One is when you get a brand new pair of like athletic shoes, running shoes, basketball shoes, there is a certain scent that comes off out of those shoes. That is one of my favorite things to do. When I first got into sneakers when I was in 7th grade, actually 6th grade, I bought my first pair like with my own money, and it was a pair of Air Force Ones. And like, again, obviously that shoe is hella old and it's had its waves in and out. It's currently in right now. Again, heavy, which is, I love it. But I remember in 6th grade, I'd saved up a bunch of like birthday money or whatever. And I remember buying that pair of shoes. And I remember when it finally came in the mail, I was so excited because it felt like, oh my God, I worked so hard to get this. This is my own. My parents didn't buy this for me. And I remember opening up the shoe and I was looking at it and I was just like studying the seams and all these sorts of things. And I lift up the shoe to my nose and I remember smelling the smell and I was like, the smell is like new. And instantly in that moment, that smell just reminds me of that moment as like being in 6th grade and buying something for myself. And it's great because whenever I get a new pair of shoes, I always get to have that moment. And it always reminds me of that. The second smell for me is, if anyone's ever been to Anthropology, it's kind of a bougie store. They got this candle and the candle like scent is called Volcano. That shit smells so fire. Like, it is so good. But the reason that scent is super like valuable to me because I remember the first time I smelled that candle, Maddie and I had just started barely dating. So we were into each other and, you know, I'm feeling all these emotions, you know, all this sorts of stuff going on. And I remember that scent was like, just reminds me of that first moment, like together. And so it's kind of been a scent we've always had in our home. Like even when we got married, somebody bought us the $200 version of that.
Dang.
And that thing lasted like, the burn time's like 75 hours or something like that straight. So it lasted us a long time, but that Volcano scent. And there's other stores that sometimes kind of emulate that, but that always gives these feelings of like first falling in love and first like exploring these unknown with each other and all that sorts of stuff. So that scent always brings me a ton of comfort.
I love that.
And then the other thing, which is funny because Axe body spray, it always brings up bad memories. So we're talking about good scents. I'll just mention one bad scent. And I remember like being in middle school, man, there was these set of kids who were just like really extremely rude to me, really mean to me. Now, again, we never got into it because I'd have whooped them. But if we did, you know, it'd have been bad for them. But I remember one of the main kids, his name was Adam. And Adam wore Axe body spray, like heavy, like that. He was going through like 2 bottles every 2 weeks, you know. But I just remember that scent of that feeling of like, there's a little bit of fear, a little bit of like, I'm scared. It's that tension. It's a little bit of anxiety of looking over my shoulder. Like, is this guy, are they going to like him and his crew, are they going to get me, you know? And so it's weird because whenever I smell Axe body spray, I always think of Adam and I always go, man, fuck that guy. I'm sure if we ran into each other today, we'd be good. But whenever I think of Axe, I always think of Adam. And I was like, man, this kid was literally trying to bully me. Like, Axe body spray is always associated with middle school me trying to get bullied by Adam.
Oh. Is there a specific scent of Axe?
Yeah, it's the main one. It's the blue. I think it's called Phoenix or something like that. And so that's why I've never wore Axe body spray, because I've always associated that scent with that time in my life. So
wow,
funny little story.
That is so interesting. I have a favorite guy deodorant. I thought it was Axe as you were talking, but it's actually an Old Spice, I think.
Much better.
And my friend Maya, her husband Dave, who's my friend Dave, he wears this deodorant, or he used to, and now he wears Healthy Kind. And then Mal Hall wears this deodorant, and it smells so good. Every time they wear it, I'm like, you guys, just give me a hug. Just let me get close to your armpit for a second. And then I remember Manny tried it like once, but he didn't like it. And I was so upset because I was like, oh my God, this can make all my dreams come true. But there's this, and I forget which one it is, but every now and then, like if Dave would be wearing it and I smell it, like, oh, Dave, you got my deodorant on. There's just something about it. It just is like, it like triggers like, if it feels good in my body, that smell. I don't know.
My fragrances are just actual fragrances.
But they don't do anything to your emotions? Or?
Yes. So this one right here is Ralph by Ralph Lauren for the girls. This reminds me of my college girlfriend. She would always wear it, and I freaking loved it. And so whenever I smell that, it takes me back to college.
Like when you're out and about and you smell a girl walking by you?
Yeah, if anybody has this on, I don't like purposely go to the counter and try to relive some days, but
okay, that's good.
just spray a little bit here.
Can you just spray some on my clothes so I can pretend?
Spray it close to my heart, ma'am?
Oh my God. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Can you put it on my hair so I can gently get a waft when I'm sleeping? This one is one of my faves, and then Tommy Hilfiger cologne reminds me of high school. And this is my first purchase of cologne that was not bought at a CVS, like a Cool Water or Gravity.
Dude, Cool Water. Memories.
Any one of those lower brands. This was Tommy Hilfiger, and I bought this at Dillard's, and I bought it myself.
Ooh.
And I bought it because I was into wearing Tommy Hilfiger, and so I thought, why not match? You know. And so all my high school career, Tommy Hilfiger, the original scent. I even bought it the other day in Nashville just to take me back.
And did it take you back?
Yeah, because I loved high school. High school was good for me. I was one of the few kids that high school. Most people don't want to remember high school, but high school was good to me.
What's funny is my old young days perfume was Exclamation, and I've written jokes about it in like my first hour special, I think. And one of my fans bought me a bottle and brought it to my show. And this is like, you got to get it on the internet because they don't have it in stores. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, like just seeing it, I was like, this is my childhood. And then I sprayed it. It was awful. Just off. I was like, I used to wear this because my babe can attest that I am so sensitive to smells. And like he has an approved list of colognes and a not approved list. He can only wear the not approved list of colognes when I'm out of town.
Correct. Or I just take him to Nashville with me.
Yeah, because it's awful. But anyway, so I sprayed it. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I used to wear this. This smells awful. So it was not what I was expecting when I opened that bottle of childhood. But I also used to wear Eternity for Men. I used to wear that one. That was my jam.
Yeah. Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. That was another like...
Oh, I hate that one. That's
really?
My sister wears that one.
Dude, I used to wear that one. That
reminds me of my sister.
That was High School B. Oh man. High School B.
High School B. What's the next question?
Okay.
Who got it? Do you want to go over to
Go
B?
ahead, B?
Yeah. Okay. What is something you hated as a kid, but now appreciate?
Wow.
Oh,
beans.
Go for it. Okay.
I used to always deny my mom me eating beans. I used to hate it. Beans and water. Water and beans.
Water.
I don't know why. I didn't drink water.
Soda,
I would drink
juice.
Some pop.
juice or
Pop.
like
My dad says pop.
Dude, we were talking about that the other day. I was like, I referred to this soda can in my class with my kids. I was like, you guys need to make sure you stay hydrated. You shouldn't be out here in these streets drinking soda pop. And some kid goes, what's soda pop?
yeah, beans and water. That was the two things I remember I hated as a kid, and now I love them both exclusively.
Two things for me would be sushi.
Oh, I
hated sushi as a kid. And now I'm like, hey, are we trying to get sushi tonight? What's good? I'm always down to find some new sushi spots. And there's so many here. Even on Ventura.
Yep.
I think I heard, I don't know how accurate this is. I need to cross.
Here we go. Go.
All right. So that there are more sushi places on Ventura Boulevard than any street in the entire world.
What?
Yes.
Ventura Boulevard.
Which is crazy. But when you think about that, like when you're really driving down, Ventura is also a really long street for those of you that aren't familiar with that street here in Studio City.
Yeah.
And Sherman Oaks and Encino. And
it goes on forever. But there's a lot. So sushi, I remember the first time I had some good sushi, I was in 8th grade. And then I was like, yeah, I like this. But as a kid, I was like, ew, fish, gross.
You know when the first time Manny had sushi?
When I got married to you.
7 years ago, huh?
10. We're going on 10 this year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he never had sushi. His first sushi roll was a chicken teriyaki roll because he wouldn't eat the fish.
They don't even say it online.
He's like, I'm getting exotic chicken teriyaki on the roll. Is it hand roll? Is it cut? The other second thing too that I hated as a kid, but now appreciate is history. As a kid, even through high school, I absolutely hated history class because I was like, this is boring. These people, these dates have nothing to do with me now.
Right.
Why am I learning about what happened in 1834? It's 2010, baby. And it's funny because once I got to college, it was like something shifted for me. And I'm learning about all these historical things that happened. And all of a sudden, it was like I just got to step out of the simulation of the Matrix, and I'm seeing all these patterns and all these archetypes and all these things, and I'm seeing how interconnected we are to our history, right? History isn't us, we are in history. And all of a sudden I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is like, we are repeating ourselves over and over and over again. And then it was funny too, because there was an element of me that couldn't actually appreciate what the Bible was trying to tell me. The Bible in a lot of ways, in some ways actually, is a history book. Yeah. Not in all the ways, because obviously there are some stories that didn't happen in the Bible that are written there, but they're still true, right? As Richard Rohr would say, in some of these myths, he goes, they're always true, and sometimes they actually really happened.
Right.
Wow.
But for history, for me, I realized, like, even this moment, understanding history gave 2020 so much context for me. So now it's something I actually like. I'm actually like reading books that are like telling history and these biographies and all these sorts of things. So really appreciate it now.
Dude, one of my favorite places to go is any historical city. So my favorites, I always tell my babes, Washington D.C. I love going to D.C. I love going to Philly. I love going to Boston. Love going to New York. All because of the history. Yeah. Like I love it more than anything. Especially since we've been traveling to Europe so much. It's like like I'm so in love with the idea of studying the past.
I would like to go back to Rome and go to the Colosseum. We did. No, I said go back.
Oh, okay.
Go back because when we toured it that day, we had just landed and I hadn't slept all night. I was so tired walking through this tour of the Colosseum. I'm like, they washed their clothes with pee. Okay, that's good. I was so tired. I want to go back and do it again because, like, you're right. History is so powerful. It's so special. But yeah, I would agree. I didn't like history then. I don't have an affinity for it like you do right now. I want to. Like, I want to be better about appreciating it. I think for me, one of the things I hated as a kid, but super appreciate now, is fruit. I hated fruit. I did not like fruit. I would eat an apple and that's it. Wow. And it couldn't be cooked, like apple pie, apple sauce, none of that. It had to be just a crunchy apple. But And then you would think, well, if you like an apple, you might like a pear. Hated pear. I still don't like pears. I still cannot handle pears. But I have evolved to now I like strawberries, blueberries. I still can't eat a banana. I can blend it in a smoothie, but I can't just go willy-nilly take a bite.
Do you like mangoes?
No.
Really?
I don't like mangoes.
Okay.
Like, so I'm still working up to it.
Yeah.
But blueberries, strawberries, watermelon is the new one. I just started liking watermelon like the past year because I would love the smell and I would take a bite and I would gag because the texture was too weird. But now I love watermelon. So yeah, there's different fruits that I'm loving now, but I used to eat no fruit at all. The other thing I would say that I hated as a kid and now I would say water too. Like, I did not like drinking water growing up. We would drink Sunny Delight.
Which is just orange sugar.
Sunny D.
We would drink
Good morning.
Tang.
Yeah.
Tang was my jam. Country Time Lemonade was my jam.
So just all sugar water.
Yeah, exactly.
Health is something that we ignore.
Remember Squeeze-Its?
No.
Y'all remember Squeeze-Its?
No.
Squeeze-Its. No.
Squeeze-Its! There was like sugar water in a plastic thing and you squeeze it into your mouth.
Oh, and then you twist.
Yeah, you
the-
twist the
the
thing
twist
up
the
top.
top. It had
Yeah.
the little like this thing on top and you
Yeah.
twist it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never knew what they were called.
That was my first beer.
This is my first drink. Here, hold my squeeze it. I'm about to do something stupid.
I got a question.
Okay.
That's good and deep. Are you an optimist, pessimist, or realist? Let me define it. Optimist, a person who tends to be hopeful and confident about the future or the success of something. A pessimist, a person who tends to see the worst aspect of things or believe that the worst will happen. A realist, a person who accepts a situation as it is and is prepared to deal with it accordingly.
I would say you're a realist.
100%. I am 100%.
And sometimes I mistake that for being pessimist. I go, God, you don't have to be so negative, babe. And you're like, no, I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I love information. I take information and I'm okay with the outcome. Yeah. I mean, I'm an optimistic realist, put it that way. Because my hope always, I wouldn't start all this crap that I do if I didn't think maybe it could work, you know? But if it doesn't, I'm a realist. I don't go to pessimism. I just move on to the next thing. So that's kind of what dreamers are. Dreamers are unconsciously optimistic. So I'm a full dreamer. But the realist part of me kicks in when I understand, oh, this is the work it takes to make any of these dreams come true. So I go hard at it and I try my best and see what happens. And if it doesn't work like I hoped it would, I just think, oh, maybe this wasn't the dream for me. Let me dream another dream. Or let me just try this other thing. You know? So I'm a optimistic realist, I would say.
You're
but more realist than
optimist realist.
Optimistic realist.
That's your Transformer name.
It's a descriptive. Optimistic Prime.
You be?
You know what? It would be similar. I think I would probably it's so weird because I feel like the last couple years, and I think this is probably just me grieving in my deconstruction and everything. I have felt so pessimistic about everything. Like there are truly days where I'm looking at what some of these church leaders are saying, what other people are saying, just friends who I've had in the Christian space for a long time. And there's literally days last year where I told Maddie I'd be hopping out of the shower, which should be an optimistic experience. You're like, dude, I can start my day fresh. Let's go. And I'd be like, babe, I think we're all going to hell. And I literally just be I would just have those days where it's just yeah, I don't see this getting better. I see this getting worse, and I would feel the weight of that. There's moments too where you feel these huge existential questions just weigh you down and you're just all right.
Yeah. For real.
But I look at my life and I look at what I invest my time in, even money in, even emotional energy and all sorts of stuff. And I'm all the signs lead to me being an optimist. I really do actually believe the best about people, but I feel I've been such an overly optimist to the extreme that a little bit of that realism has hit within the last couple years. So some days it feels like it pulls me down to being pessimistic. But like all in all, I think at the end of the day, I'm optimistic,
Right.
for the most part. And again, maybe part of that is just how I'm wired, because I'm a 3. So I'm an achiever. I'm always like, I believe the best. I can drive and like really like strive to get somewhere. And I think also part of that is just all my church childhood just drilled into me. Like there was always like this, we have a living hope, you know, we got a hope for the future, and the next move of God is going to be the greatest thing. There was always all these things that you're so looking forward to that it kind of drills inside of you of like, I'm hopeful for the future.
Yeah.
And I think I'm hopeful. But at the same time too, I think I now have a better process for taking in reality as it's happening and understanding what's happening and being okay with not feeling optimistic all the time. Like you could still like, and that's the thing I've discovered is I'm optimistic even though I don't feel like that all the time. But I think it's more of kind of like this thing, this belief system that's like drilled into me. So
Yeah.
I would even tag on to that. Like you're optimistic, but then sometimes it's the jadedness of being hurt, maybe
yeah.
from the risk you took, being optimistic in this situation, hoping for this, wanting this, believing that this could happen, that this could be true, and then when it doesn't happen, then that's when the pessimistic side.
Well, here's the thing. You know, can these things be transient, you know?
Yeah.
Like, do you have to be one thing all the time? Because there may be sectors of life that you're just like utterly pessimistic. You're just, you know, I don't know if a truly optimistic person would ever stay there. I think maybe there'll be days where they feel like, but they usually are able to pick themselves back up and just keep it moving.
It's the same thing with the Enneagram. Like you are an achiever, right? That's what a 3 is, an achiever. But I'm sure there's some situations where you don't feel the need to achieve. And like I'm a 9 peacemaker, but there's sometimes where I'm trying to rile stuff up. I'm trying to get in a fight. You know what I mean? But it's at the core of who you are is optimistic. But you're gonna have your moments of like, I don't feel it today. For me, I'm same boat. Like, babe, you're a realist that dips into optimistic, and I feel like I'm optimistic that dips into realist because there's a lot of times you have to remind me, say yes before no. And I feel like in those moments where like if an opportunity comes my way, I find all the reasons why it's not going to work, why I shouldn't take a risk on it, why I shouldn't waste my time on it, why I shouldn't self-tape for this audition, why I shouldn't blah, 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 blah. And Manny will have to remind me to say yes before I say no. So I've definitely taken that into my life, and it's a conscious choice that I make sometimes where my instinct is to go, yeah, but A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And I'm going to go, okay, yes, this could produce this. This could blah, blah, blah. And I purposely, intentionally focus on those things. And that's when I'm operating as a realist, but I'm like, let me just be optimistic here for a second. So I do have my moments as well.
Yeah. The other thing too that I would add, I was just thinking about it. I don't forget what you just said that kind of sparked this thought for me, but it was I think the struggle and sometimes being optimistic is that for me, when I would experience things that are either A, traumatic, B, really painful, and I'm trying to go through a grieving process, it's like there's almost the denial of that. Because there's this like thing deep down inside of me that's like, if I give into that, I'm no longer going to be optimistic. Let's just be here on the up and up. Like it's just like glory to glory to glory, up and up and up. And really, man, within these last couple of years, it's like there's been some things that have been really, really hard that I've really had to grieve, you know? And then actually giving myself the space to be honest with how bad it really is. And I think I was always scared to admit there's how some things inside of me were really that bad. Like it was like, it can't be that bad. Like it's a little bit bad, but like, you know, we're going to launch up to the moon here on this next one. but like really actually taking a step back and saying, oh, this is really bad. Like I need to really address this in my life. And there's been a lot of stuff, like I feel like even within this last year where like, I'm like, oh my God, that's really deep and that's really bad. So let me process this out. I got hope it'll get worked out. I got hope in the process, but it's okay to be a pessimist or actually I'd say more of a realist and feel everything that you're feeling right now.
That's good.
I like that.
My next question is, what prop in a movie or television show would you pay money for? The first thing that popped in my head when I saw this was the ruby slippers from The Wizard of Oz.
Oh,
The Wizard of Oz is my favorite movie of all time. And when I was a kid, I don't know why it resonated with me so much. It's kind of like you have kids now that resonate with like Michael Jackson. Like there's like a 3-year-old who won't stop listening to Michael Jackson, and like Michael Jackson been dead long before they were born.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it was about this movie when I was a child. So I'm growing up in the 80s, and I resonated so hard with The Wizard of Oz. I was Dorothy for Halloween probably like 3 or 4 times as a kid. Every birthday cake, my mom would be like, what do you want on your birthday cake? Like that was a big thing that we got to pick for ourselves, is what theme did we want for our birthday cake? And Wizard of Oz every year, just Yellow Brick Road, give me some. And I remember one year on my birthday cake, she got me real life figurines of Dorothy and the Tin Man and the Lion, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is the best cake I've ever seen in my whole entire life. So something about this movie just like speaks to my heart. And the ruby slippers is just like the biggest thing of that movie. That was her power. That was her she had her power all along and didn't even know it. You know what I mean? Like there's so much in me that I have not even tapped into yet, that I don't even know. Like my ruby slippers are in there, and I have to experience being afraid of the lion in the forest. I have to experience my best friend, the scarecrow, and our friendship. I have to experience the Tin Man. I have to experience all of these things and go on this journey and get to this place where then you uncover these things that you've always had, that were always inside of you. So I feel like the ruby slippers are something that I would pay money for.
Wow. That's deep. That's a clap right there.
oh, give it to her. Give it to her.
That was amazing. That was seriously so deep. I'm thinking here, what are my ruby slippers? Damn.
I don't have no rubies. I mean, if you had to talk about something that was in a movie that I would want to take home.
A prop from a movie or a TV show that you would pay money for. And it don't have to be deep. It could just be your favorite
Garland from a Hallmark movie. Like it could be.
Anything from
Candace
a Hallmark
Cameron,
movie.
is she a prop?
Oh my God, I would take Candace home. I love Candace. That's my girl. I think. Wait, are cars considered props?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Then, if that were the case,
Ooh, take your pick.
there's so many. There's so many that I would take home, but kind of the one that started the whole car thing would probably be that Supra from Fast and the Furious. The very first
Really?
one.
I used to wear super tennis shoes all the time.
It's just, and I don't know if I don't like Supras, but I think if it were to be the most valuable thing, it would be, I think that car spurned on a whole freaking culture of driving fast. And then if I had to really think about it, it would be the Shelby, because what reignited it was when I watched Ferrari versus Ford.
Oh man.
And the Shelby that Matt Damon was driving, because after I watched that movie, I have not driven the same since. I've been so into driving.
I thought you were going to say one of the Mission Impossible cars. One of Tom's Cruise
Mission
cars.
Impossible cars are always BMWs, and I technically already have it.
Oh, cue me, please, everybody.
I'm saying I was gonna say, because the M4, that's the Mission Impossible car. The Bond cars, on the other hand,
Oh yeah.
Oh, maybe that's what I was thinking.
the Aston Martins, and they're straight. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know. But any car, they're just cars. I just love cars, but I wouldn't take anything else.
Not on this question, but just on cars. Dream car, I want an Impala. I want a 64 Impala
You
with
think
hydraulics.
you want an Impala?
No, I want a 64 Impala with hydraulics, only to live out my childhood dream of being a chola. Like to go cruising with my man.
I almost got her one too when we first got married.
To go cruising with my man, listening to oldies, orale, and at the stoplight, just like flipping the switch, zoot, zoot, zee, zee, zee.
I almost got her one for our wedding gift. I was in Florida talking to my boy because he has one. He has a couple. And I was like, let me get him. So I test drove his. And
Where would we park it at our old condo?
She
in
would
North Hollywood.
hate this car because the brakes are so hard. They don't
I would
stop
want
right.
it just for nostalgia.
Yeah.
Just for like when we get to a place in our lives where like we have our warehouse with cars, I definitely want an Impala just for like cruising.
I'm with it. I love old cars. I love it. But then can at the same time, okay, stop. It hit me.
There it is. The moment. The
Porsche 356 that Dylan had on 90210.
Wow, took it back. I can't even visualize
It literally just hit me because I've never been more enthralled with Jason Priestley's Mustang, which was the okay car, but then Dylan and his Speedster. Bruh, that's a $200,000 car. I didn't even know it back then, but he was just so cool.
Wow.
What did his parents do for a living on the
Luke
show?
Perry. I don't know. I think he was just a rich kid. I don't even know. They never really showed his parents.
R.I.P. Luke Perry.
Trust fund, baby.
Yeah, I think he was that cool trust fund kid.
Brandon, what's your prop from a movie or television show you pay money for?
One is not as deep and the other one is deep. So I'll start off with the not as deep one. I don't even know what to call it. The closest thing I could call it, because visually speaking, Blade Runner 2049 is one of my favorite movies of all time.
The newest one.
The newest one.
Got it.
Old one was great with Harrison Ford. I mean, it's still...
The new one has Harrison Ford too, though.
Yeah. But that truck... Like, to me, the closest thing we have to it is the Tesla Cybertruck, which hasn't released yet. Will release next year. At least production starts at the end of the year. And to me, like, just the aesthetic of that movie is so, like, oh, my God, the future. Like, it's like all these... The future, in that sense, is a little bit dystopian. But it represents, like, just the advancements and progress in our technology and what we have. So, to me, that truck is... It just reminds me of the future and like what's available and what can happen. Like just like these things we haven't even thought of yet.
Yeah.
So that's like the kind of like, it'd just be dope to have. And I probably will buy a Cybertruck when it comes out. But the second thing is the Jordan 11s that Michael Jordan wore in the movie Space Jam.
Yeah.
So I was 5 years old when that
The
movie
Air
came
Jordans.
out. Yes. They're now the Space Jam 11s. So it's like the all black and it has the bluish Jumpman symbol and the clear soles. And I remember I ended up having a pair. I ended up selling that pair to get money to buy Maddie's ring. But that movie, when I first watched it, I remember we were living down here in Los Angeles. And I remember hearing R. Kelly's I Believe I Can Fly with that scene of the little kid shooting hoops in the backyard and his dad telling him to come in. And this little kid of just dreaming of like, man, someday I want to play on the big court in the packed out arenas and like, you know, fans cheering. And I just remember that moment like sinking into just my little self at that time thinking, man, if I dream it just like this kid, I could possibly like get there someday.
Yeah.
Aww.
And so those shoes always represent to me the power of dreaming. And that's why I would probably pay a lot of money to have those shoes. But yeah, I just remember that moment just marking me of thinking like it can happen.
As
Like,
long as I have those shoes.
As long as I have those shoes. If I lace up these 11s, I can get there. And I know R. Kelly's been canceled. I get it for probably good reason. But that song is still so sentimental to me. I Believe I Can Fly is a deeply spiritual, moving song. Whenever that plays, there's something like, there's some God on that song.
For sure.
And when I hear that, it always brings me back to like, man, what am I dreaming for? What impossible things could God do in my life, through my life? And so, man, those Space Jam 11s, I'm going to get a pair this year again, just because I need to have those in my closet.
And that's okay that song still does that for you and is spiritual for you, even if he's canceled, whatever. There's plenty of worship songs written by worship leaders who knows some shit. I ain't trying to put nobody on blast.
Yeah, speaking of cancel, this is probably off the Space Jam 11s. Yeah.
Yeah, they're so
I
clean.
wanted the white ones, the Concords.
Yeah, the white ones are clean too. I had like 4
I had
pairs.
the
The
Space
cool
Jam.
gray 11s are dope. The bread 11s, and for those of you that are
I have
hearing
the
this, you're
breads.
like, those are weird names.
I have the breads, but I don't have these Space Jams. I may have to get me some too.
Yeah, it was a cool story because when I finally got my pair, my boy was working at the Nike outlet in San Leandro, like pretty close to Oakland Airport. And sometimes the Nike outlet will get like really good stuff. Like I'm talking like the stuff that gets sold out online, but
Wow.
there might be just a minor defect with the shoe. Like it could be like a little extra piece of glue on the sole.
I'll take it.
So those shoes are at the outlet. Like they retail for $175. He gives me a call. I'm on my way to Berkeley to practice. He goes, dude, you're never gonna guess what I just found in your size. I said, what? He goes, Space Jam 11s, my guy. And I was like, what? And he was like, I was like, how much are they? I didn't have no money. I was like, I don't care. I'm gonna borrow money to get these. And he was like, $80. And I was like, what? That's crazy. He goes, hey, let me finish, bro. And he was like, dude, I'm gonna use my employee discount. You get an extra 20% off. I was like, dude, let's go. Ah! And I got them. I wore those things. I cleaned them every time I wore them. I still scrub my J's with a toothbrush.
Still scrub my J's with a toothbrush. Me too.
Did you have another question, babe?
No.
Okay, I got one. Do we have time or no?
Yeah. I mean, we can.
All right, do the last one. Okay, if you started your own restaurant, what food would you serve? I used to say that I would love to open a restaurant called French Fries. And I would just have all of the French fries from all the major chains, all the major restaurants that you love. Like the curly fries from Jack in the Box, regular fries from McDonald's, the tempura fries from Rally's. Like I love French fries, and I would love to open a restaurant with all different kinds of French fries, except for the In-N-Out French fries, because those are the most horrible French fries of all time.
Wow.
I love you, In-N-Out. I love you, and thank you for being healthy and fresh and making them right before I pulled up to the window. However, I don't like them. Yeah, so I wanted to open a restaurant called French Fries, and it would just have every single French fry from all over the world and all the dipping sauces you could ever imagine. You want hot mustard from McDonald's? I got you. You got some buffalo sauce from Chick-fil-A? Got you. And that's another one. Chick-fil-A, I don't like your French fries either. I'm gonna need you to add some.
What?
You don't like the waffle
Chick-fil-A
fries?
No, I need them to like make them crispier, make them saltier, all the things. Give me some more flavor in those
Oh
fries.
my God, you're crazy.
I never
Wow.
loved those fries. My sister, I'm gonna throw hers in really quick because she said this a long time ago, that she wanted to open up a restaurant. Hold on, I want to make sure I get it right. Veronica's restaurant. She was gonna open. It was gonna be a sports bar next to batting cages, and the batting cages were called "Let Me Hit That," and the sports bar is called "Let Me Tap That." Let me hit that next to let me tap that sports bar on tap. Okay, that's all.
That's hilarious.
What kind of restaurant I would do?
Dude, if I had one, it would be just someone's getting hit up. Let me hit that. To me, it would be like just a steak and wine spot. Like just to have all these like exotic wines. So it's like you stepped in what feels like this like very private like wine collection of this like really wealthy dude who's collected wine from all these years from all over the world. But then at the same time too, you also get all like these like exotic steaks. Like you get like some like Wagyu beef that had been flown in from Japan earlier that morning, you know, like stuff like that, and just like really have this experience. And of course have some like good sides and stuff. But have these people who would pair like these crazy exotic wines with these really rare, exquisite steaks, and just the mixture of the two and how they complement each other. And because I love steak, man. I mean, one of the best meals Maddie and I ever had was for my birthday. It was at it's in Vegas. It's a steakhouse there. I'm forgetting the chef there. Why am I forgetting? I'm totally blanking. But anyways, the steak we ended up buying was like $450.
What? I ain't buy no damn steak.
And what's crazy is we didn't even know that was the price of it.
DAFAQ.
So we were there, and like I had just gotten some birthday money and stuff. We're excited. We're trying to have a nice meal. And we're looking at all the steaks, and there's some that are priced just like crazy. Like you're talking like hundreds of dollars for like a couple ounces of a steak because of how like rare it is.
Damn.
And so we found one. I was like, oh, we could split this one, baby. And it was like, it just said $80, and it had like the little divider, and then I think it said like 8 ounce or whatever. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. We'll split this. You know, it's good. So it comes out, and it's like a fat ass steak, and it just like is beautiful looking, like the marbling in it, just all that. So we're like taking our time, we're cutting it open, and this steak was literally like melting in your mouth. Like you're just like, oh my gosh, like it's this huge complex burst of all these flavors. You could taste the smokiness, and it doesn't even need sauce. That's how good it is. There's no need for A1. You just eat the steak. And so after, I was like, wow, that felt like a little bit bigger than 8 ounces. And it was like, I wasn't even thinking about it. So when we got the bill, I was like, I looked over at Maddie, and I was like, well, that was an experience we're going to remember. That was a really good steak. It was one of the best steaks I've ever had in my life. And so we paid for it or whatever. And it was all my birthday money.
Oh.
This was like, I think this was like 2018. So it was a couple years ago. But I love to open up a spot like that. Like people can have these moments, and I'd be a little bit more transparent with my pricing.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to have to crowdfund to get a reservation at your restaurant.
I'm going to have to start a GoFundMe. Please pay for my steak experience.
I think what I would do is open up a restaurant of just all my favorite things from places that I've eaten at.
Burgers upon burgers.
It's like, but no, you don't get options of pizzas. You just get my favorite pizza. And you don't get options of burgers. You just get my favorite burger. And you don't get options of desserts. You just get my favorite desserts.
Sounds like you're really narrowing your your clientele.
No, I mean,
Manny's churros.
if I'm gonna open something that has a unique perspective, like, and say I have I become somebody that's, to where people really want to get to know me in every sense of the word. If you have a fan base that's dedicated like that, then when you eat at my restaurant, you literally can say, I know what his favorite dessert is. I know what his favorite meal is. I know what his favorite everything is. I know what his favorite decor is. I know what his favorite appetizer is. I know what his favorite, you know what I'm saying? Because everything on there is just my favorites.
I think I'm hungry because every time you say favorite dessert, I go, You didn't even describe anything. I just go, My favorite meal,
But wouldn't that be cool if you had somebody that you really loved, like, and they literally just said, these are all my favorite meals. Like, if I were gonna die, this would be my last meal. This would be my app. This would be my course. This will be what I'm drinking. And so when you're in there, you're literally like, man, I didn't know that Mark Wahlberg likes, this. I didn't know that Beyonce likes this. Like, this is her favorite stuff, cooked and prepared the way that she likes it. Mm-hmm. I think that would be so dope as a fan experience.
Yeah.
Now, the restaurant wouldn't be big. It'd be small. It'd be like kind of like that sushi guy who only has like 8 people.
That sounds like a great pop-up restaurant to tour while the artist is on tour.
If Travis Scott did that shit would sell out.
Oh
so
yeah,
fast.
absolutely.
If he was like, only my favorite stuff, come see what I eat.
That's fire idea. You should edit this out and do it yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not Travis Scott. I don't think anybody would show up, but the idea would be dope. The idea, I mean,
dude, like,
it would be dope.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Like, imagine how many like little people would be like, I get to eat Billie Eilish's meal.
Yeah, like what
Beyonce,
what she eats, like her
this
favorite.
This is Beyonce's
thing.
grandma's mac and cheese recipe, and I am eating it right now.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
That would be dope.
I paid $30 for it.
It would be the closest. It would be the closest and only way that most of the entire world would ever get to share a meal with Beyonce. But you'd be sharing a meal with Beyonce. These are the ingredients. These are the things. And if it's like my favorite churro is from this place, then I would pay them a license to use their recipe. So it would be kind of like that. I don't know. That'd be cool.
Pretty cool.
It's a great idea.
If I was going to do it. Anyways, is that the one we want to end on? Do we want to end on that one?
I wanted to just mention, since we were talking about great meals, that one of my favorite meals of all time was our meal we had in New York with our family.
That was fun. At the
And
French restaurant?
we went to a very fancy restaurant, and we all got dressed up in New York, and it was like whatever Michelin
I
star.
think it had gotten 3 Michelin stars.
3 Michelin stars, 7 courses. I don't remember how many courses, but pairing wine. We were the youngest people in the restaurant.
For sure. Everybody looked at us like we were freaking from another planet.
I remember like Maddie was like our madam because she like made the reservation and was like just for some reason she looked like she knew what she was doing. So we're like, you tell him, Maddie, what we want, everything. So Maddie moment. We love you, Maddie. And that was a great meal and we all knew that this meal tonight is an investment.
Yeah.
Because this is going to be so expensive. But none of us were like worried about like the price and how expensive it was going to be. It was just we savored the moment. We savored the flavors. We savored the conversation. We savored the environment. Like it was so special. And that's probably my favorite meal that I've had.
That night.
It was like almost a 3-hour experience.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a type of restaurant. The thing that I was so impressed by was one, just the quality and just how good the food was. And it's a place that invites you to eat slower. Like it is a place for you to just like really just be in the moment and enjoy this experience. Cause it's not like you're just eating food. Like that's what, and to me, that's the thing that separates that experience from other eating. Like you go to a restaurant and like, yeah, this was good. Cool. All right. Gonna get the check.
Man, we're talking about it, but we don't even know the name of it.
Danielle's.
Yeah.
Danielle's?
Yeah. I don't know if it's pronounced Daniel's or Danielle's. It's like,
Because it's French.
Yeah.
Danielle's.
So it's like my dog's Bleh. That's his name is spelled.
New
Bleh.
York.
But with it, like, it's crazy because there are
Danielle
people kind
NYC.
of like,
Just in case you guys are wanting to go, it is 1,600 Google reviews, almost perfect 5 stars. French restaurant, has $4 signs. But if you are interested, it's on 60 East 65th Street.
yeah, this would be for
60
sure like
East
a
65th Street.
celebrating a major milestone anniversary.
Yeah, you dropping
save up for it.
$500, $600.
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
And with that, it was like people who were just like waiting to pick up crumbs at your table. Like that was the thing. Like as soon as some crumbs like happened to dance off my plate or something, like people were literally there. And as I would turn around, I'd like, wait, where did those crumbs go?
Yeah.
Like these people are just like super stealthy with it. And that experience was incredible.
I'm looking at the picture and I know exactly where we sat.
I would do it all over again. We sat right in the
over
corner.
here. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. And it's like, you got to get dressed up too. Like you just
Oh, for
can't
sure.
go like it's,
Love it.
anyways.
Yeah.
sure.
Well, hey guys, thanks for listening. If you listened this far, we would love to hear your thoughts on the episode and whether or not you want us to keep doing these question episodes, because really these are just episodes for you guys to get to know us on a more personal level. So if you enjoy that, awesome. If you don't, let us know, I guess. And we'd love to tell you to go. No, I'm just kidding. We'd totally take your opinions.
Go to heaven.
And hey,
Go to heaven.
we would be remiss to not say shout out to all the Patreon fam. We love you guys so much. We are uber grateful that you guys continue to support us. If you're listening to this podcast and you wonder how we get it done, patreon.com/NATRT. We would love for you guys to check it out. We offer extra content, behind the scenes stuff, VIP Zooms. It's an amazing thing just to support the podcast and keep it going. So if you're interested, please check it out. If not, thank you for being a part of another episode of Nights at the Round Table. And as we say at this time,
I got to shine.
we pray you find a seat at the table. But if you don't, you are always welcome at ours. Cheers.
Cheers.
What's up, y'all? Here's another episode of Nights at the Round Table. Hey, quick question. If you could buy any prop from a TV show or movie, what would it be? We answer these questions, and once you hear Angela's question, we gotta what would it be? Once you hear Angela's answer, you'll get to once you hear Angela's answer, you'll